Okay, this is a really exciting day, a long time coming. We're going to do the unboxing of my mom, Judy Spear, and my new book, Ready, Set, Coach Build a Thriving Coaching Business Fast. So, do you have anything to say, Mom, before we unveil these boxes?
I want to say three things. Number one, it was a lot of fun to write something with you because I have a great sense of you as a daughter, but now I have an even greater sense of you as a professional. So it was wonderful to do something professional with you. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is I know that you don't like it when I say you did most of the work, but you
I
really did do
don't.
most of the
I
of the
don't
work.
like that. It's not even true.
Kristen's really good at outlining what a book should look like. And I think that's what most people struggle with because if I ever had to write a book on my own, I never would have done it because it's hard to figure out what is the skeleton, what what's the infrastructure. And Kristen's really good at doing that. The third thing I want to say is writing this book was like Kristen showing up at my door on a Saturday morning and saying, Mom, let's run 20 miles. So those are my thoughts. But once we got into it, it was really a lot of fun. Kristen did such a great job of outlining the book. And then I would just sit and write gobs of content, and she would figure out where it should go. So it was great fun to watch this book emerge. And the two of us really love our interaction with people. And we're sort of addicted to helping, both of us. So it's great to put words on paper. And what it was wonderful after it was finished and we sent it out to beta readers to have them respond to us and say, boy, this is really helpful. They gave us a lot of good ideas to make it even better. But even in the initial review, they started telling us that they could see things in this book that would be extremely useful to help them solve real day-to-day problems in their practice or getting ready to have an expanded practice. So I'm thrilled that Kristen bugged me for 2 years to do this. And I'm glad that I finally woke up one day and said, yeah, we should do this.
So
Ton of work.
yeah, I already had a sense of you as a professional because I had seen you deliver workshops and speak, and I had been coached by you. I had sat in on your coaching sessions. But but writing the book with you really underscored the depth of your experience. It's crazy to me how you've really, as a coach and a consultant, seen everything. And
I
it,
have
and
seen
it,
everything.
yeah, and it goes, and you've been running your own business since I mean, I'll be 51 in 3 weeks from today. And I was still living at home when you started your coaching business. I would think I
Hmm.
was in college, but
Yeah, it's been
I mean,
26 years.
yeah, so it's been a great journey to do this. I love that we're leaving a legacy together. It was amazing to hear the beta readers say things like, "I wish I had this when I started my business," or one of the
Hmm.
beta readers said, "This book makes me feel brings to mind the 7 habits of highly effective people, the kind of
Wow.
book that you'll go back to again and again and again." And I really have a sense that this book will end up becoming like a legacy.
Hmm.
You know how a lot of people really love to read the book Think and Grow Rich, and it inspires them. I love that people will be inspired about what's possible, but what I love even more is the book is so practical, and it
Hmm.
actually outlines very useful information about significant things that could shutter a person's business if they had
That's
too many
right.
missteps, right?
And I like that the way it's laid out is you don't have to read it from start to finish.
Hmm.
You can pick it up and you can pick any chapter that interests you where you need help and you just go and read that chapter and you're
Yeah.
all set.
But I have a feeling people will read most of the chapters once they once they start reading out of order. They might think, "Wait a minute, I think I need to start at the beginning and really dig into who am
Mhm.
I as a coach or a consultant to really
Yeah.
understand the foundation they're building their business on."
Hmm.
So, okay, I'm
Let's
gonna
open the box.
go ahead and cut the box open. I will say that this book came in the mail yesterday, and it was, or the box came in the mail yesterday, and it was really difficult
To not
to leave
open
it
it.
alone and not open it. I wish we could have done this in person, but this is great too to have
Hmm.
this conversation
Hmm.
recorded and
Thank goodness somebody invented Zoom.
yeah. So I've never seen this book before, never held it before, so my heart
It is
is
pounding.
pounding. There's a lot of paper in here. Oh my goodness. Oh, and here we go. Ooh, this is a thick book. Okay.
Wow. And there it is.
There it
Ready,
is.
set, coach.
Yep, best-selling author review map Kristen A. Sherry, Ready Set Coach, build a thriving coaching business fast, and Judith C. Spear, MSCMC BCC, master's degree in organizational leadership and communication, certified management coach, and board certified coach. So you
Yeah.
have all the experience and all the credentials. So, oh, it looks so beautiful. You know, it's so funny. Like there's this I just happened to open it on the to the chapter on time management. And so I coach coaches and only people who are certified in UMAP. I don't offer coaching services to just anybody, but um it's funny because I just coached somebody on this chapter and every time I coach a coach I'm like well, this is in the book. This is in the book. And that's how it let me know that the book really covered everything they need to know because
Yeah.
everything they would ask me, I would say, well, it's in the upcoming book. One of the mistakes that I made when I became a coach was I got my time tool and I just started sending the link out. And one day I woke up to 8 meetings on my calendar the next day, 8 hours, and it was back to back with no break. And I was like, "Oh no! Like this needs to change." So I learned all the little tricks about booking 15 minutes between appointments, only allowing 2 a day or 3 a day, never
Yeah.
allowing meetings Monday or Fridays. And I started to find my groove about how many people I could coach. But that's a question that coaches always ask me. How do I know how many clients I can handle or
Hmm.
can manage? So the smallest little thing like you don't think about like that all the way
It's
to
really important. If you don't do good time management, you're not giving the people that you're with the best of who you are.
and you don't feel joy in your business. It
No.
becomes a job. Yeah, and it's
Drudgery.
very different
It
for
feels
each
like
person.
drudgery.
Absolutely. So when we look at this, it just looks so beautiful. I'm just oh, and we dedicated the book to your mom, my grandma. That's the I love the thing that you wrote at the back of the book, the postscript about grandma. It was amazing. I think that it's worthwhile for everyone to read because I think the reason that you and I have gone places people dream of going with our own businesses, but we're afraid to go is because we had someone like grandma in our life who,
She was the original coach for both of us.
that's right.
She coached me and I coached you.
So when we think about the book, we have ready, set, coach. Each of those is a section of the book, right? So ready tells some coach stories to start with takeaway lessons from each of these
Hmm.
coaches. We talk about you as the coach and what kind of a coach are you based on who you are. And I love the self discovery process. And you can download a coach canvas from the companion website. And it's not no additional cost, it's included with the book. And build your own coach canvas to see a snapshot of
Hmm.
who you are as a coach, how you encourage people and move them to action, who are really keen to serve, and how you the services that you'll offer them and what experiences you have that add value. But I'm curious to know in the ready section, then we talk about, are you more wired to be a coach, a consultant, or a hybrid?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
some people go into coaching and they say, oh no, I hate it. Now what? But really, they were meant to be a consultant, not a coach, or vice
Right.
versa. Um, how to discover your ideal clients, how to build a brand. Do I need a coaching certification? Starting a business, and then some financial considerations. So I'm curious, out of the ready section, what was your favorite chapter?
It's hard to say because as we were putting them together, I just enjoyed working on each one so much because it spurred my thinking. It took me back to the beginning when I started, and I was so naive. I had no idea what a consultant actually did. And then about 2 years into consulting, when I discovered coaching, I thought, well, that sounds interesting. I should learn more about that. Um, but I was just green, green, green all over the place. And I'm really grateful for several people who showed me how to do a proposal, who talked to me about what the experience is like, so that I could kind of think about, is that how I want to spend my days? And how will I get ready? How will I explain to people what this is all about? And I remember the first time I did a proposal, it was for, I think, 4 sessions. And I asked for $2,500, and I was positive they'd say no. So I was shocked when they said yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
I think my favorite, believe it or not, because I really like you, the coach, because how it walks through the very meaningful self discovery with the three C's of coaching that you need to think about, and the two roles of a coach and all of that. But I love
Hmm.
the coach stories
I
because
love the coach stories too.
yeah, people who've been there and who've coached people just it's so valuable to learn from people who've gone before you, and that
That's
was
right.
the benefit I had because you had already started coaching by the time I started my business, and it helped me really avoid a lot of pitfalls. You were just
Hmm.
so invaluable to me, and you had to sort of do it alone, but with some mentorship, of course.
Yeah.
But I feel like I really had on speed dial somebody who had grown a very successful business to the point where you had employees and
Hmm.
yeah, just incredible. In part two set, we talk about messaging and marketing, client service contracts, proposals, services and pricing, niches, attracting
Hmm.
clients, and balancing generosity and profit. That's always a struggle for coaches.
That's right. It is
Oh, and
because
hiring the
people,
right assistant because they're
yeah,
generous people by nature and they're helpers by
we are.
nature.
We are generous people by nature. And if we're not careful, we give away the store.
That's right.
So it's a delicate balance. We have to make enough money for the business to thrive, and yet we have to feel that we're giving our clients incredible value. They're getting a lot more than what they actually pay for.
And I have to give a shout out to Sarah Johnson because she she really was helpful in sharing the voice of coaches as well in terms of what content people would like to see in this book. I had a
Hmm.
sense of what I thought should be in here, and so did you because we've walked this path.
Right.
But she brought some things up that I thought were really
Her
really interesting.
suggestions were great, just great.
Yeah. And then in part three, coach, that's where we roll up our sleeves and talk about the things. Now you got ready to figure out what you needed to do, whether you were side hustling or what.
That was
Setting
my
things in
favorite
place.
part to write. It
Which
was the
one?
easy, the
The
coach part.
coach. Yeah.
It was, I would sit down and it was like everything just flowed. I didn't even have to think about it. It just flowed.
Mm-hmm.
And I would write for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 hours sometimes in the middle of the night. And, I would just have pages and pages and pages and pages. And I thought, oh man, maybe it's too much. But it was so
No.
easy because I
Yeah.
was just right in my groove.
I feel like if it came to you that it was important, it should be included because then people would say, "I wish you had covered X, Y, and Z if you cut it out." But it was a great experience writing all, like you said, it just comes out and
It
comes
just
out because you're
flows.
just tapping into your life experiences. Um,
Hmm.
so when we talk about coach, we start with ethics because I think a lot of times people coach and they haven't been introduced to the topic of ethics. And then
Hmm.
we talk about discovery calls, um, coaching process and best practices, assessments and tools. A lot of people, what assessments should I use? Should I use assessments? It's a black box and they don't really know. So that was a lot of fun to dig into.
Yeah. The point I always make to people who ask me about coaching and how I got into coaching is I say, if you're really going to do a bang up job, you have got to learn about psychometric tools because nowadays they are everywhere. And when people go to college, when they go to grad school, when they go to work in a progressive organization, these tools come up. So having an ability to use them and to use them well gives you a huge advantage.
Hmm.
Huge.
Absolutely. So we talk about group coaching. I just coached somebody yesterday. No, it's today Sunday, Friday. I had an
Mm-hmm.
appointment on Friday. Someone in Pakistan who wants to do group coaching.
Mm-hmm.
Assessing success. This was one of Sarah's suggestions. How do I know that I'm being successful and the client is being successful? How do you assess your success? We talked about partnerships. Sometimes coaches feel like they are isolated and they might like to
It
work
can
with
be it
someone.
can be a lonely profession. It can be lonely because a lot of the people that you talk to, they have no one else to talk to. So they
That's
talk
right.
to you. And I always have somebody that I can talk to because I think good coaches have good coaches, people that they can reach out to.
For
It's
sure.
important.
I love this chapter. You wrote the partnerships chapter, and the advice in here is absolute gold. I love how you ask the questions they need to be asking themselves to
Mhm.
determine whether or not a partnership is right for them,
Yeah.
and alerted to them to the things they need to be future focused about and thinking about. It was just
Mhm.
things that I had never thought of because I haven't worked in a partnership. I've done referral models where
Mhm.
I've referred people and back and forth. I don't ever do paid referrals. Um, I just refer people and don't expect any compensation. Some people might want to have that model with another coach, and that's fine. But having never had a partnership, I've only had an employee support model.
Mhm.
Um, I found that so valuable.
Mhm.
And then of
There's
course
a
we
lot to
mentioned,
think about
oh,
before you
for
become a
sure,
partner with someone.
for
A
sure.
lot. Yeah.
Time management, passive income, and intellectual property. I'll never forget when I started my business, you told me not to tie my time to my dime and that my goal should be to make money while I sleep. And I took that
Mhm.
to heart. And that's how
Mhm.
I'm able to take summers off and I don't work the month of December, when my husband takes the majority of his vacation time. And that enabled me to be able to do that, to be able to pay someone to keep the shop open while I'm
Yeah.
spending time with my kids during the summer and things like that.
Yeah.
And then we talked about speaking engagements and
Mhm.
how you can bring business through speaking and how to go about that. Book writing, of course, I have to include that. This is my 11th book. Not including the coloring journal because that's not really a book that goes with Maximize 365. That would be 12 products, but really 11 books. And then why coaching businesses fail. And I have to give a shout out to Mary Ellen Bramwell because she was the one who said, um, why not put that at the end of your
Right.
book and then go through and explain how all of the chapters in your book have prepared you for the top 10 reasons that coaching and consulting businesses fail. I thought that was brilliant.
That's right.
Hmm.
I'm really surprised when people tell me that they tried coaching or consulting for a year or two and they just couldn't get any traction
Hmm.
because I have found it really easy, really, really easy. So it just goes to show if you do what you're wired to do,
Hmm.
magic happens.
I think a lot of the times people are really drawn to coaching or consulting, but it's the sales and marketing piece.
Hmm.
They're not coaches, or I think I even when I wrote the back blurb, I had put it in the original. I may have taken this out, but coaches coach. That's what they're good at, and that's what they want to do. But they're not so good at running a business,
The business piece. Yeah.
and
And
that's why we
so,
wrote this.
yeah. And so they spend their time working in the business instead of on the business.
Hmm.
And luckily, I love business. So I
Yeah.
like the coaching part, but I also like the business part.
That's right. And the thing I love about this is I went and looked at other books for coaches about similar to this, and a lot of them talk about starting a business and the business elements, but our entire third of the book, Coach, is missing. They don't talk through evaluating
Right.
the assessments, and so they talk
Hmm.
about how do you write proposals and marketing and that, but they don't have that third part, coach, and that's also a big question mark to people when they first start coaching.
That's
People,
right.
they're not
How do I
sure.
get started? I've
Yeah.
had so many people say to me, how do I get started?
Hmm. And they know they're good at giving advice to people, right? Because a
Hmm.
lot of
Yep.
times coaches are the people that other people go to for advice. But how do you formalize that into a business, create services and pricing around that? And and people are always really concerned about new clients. So we talk about actually you make more money through existing clients. Can you share about
Always,
that?
always. I love it when I kind of joke with people when they hire me, and I'm usually hired by a CEO or somebody at a pretty significant level. I warn them ahead of time that I infect organizations. I'm like a virus. And it's true, you work with one person and then they want you to work with their department. And then one of their peers says, gee, I hear you're doing great things over in that department. Could you come and help my department? And the next thing you know, you've got a lot of people that you're working with. It's wonderful. It's tremendous reinforcement that you are offering solid value.
And so you did a lot of most of your work in the corporate world. I did as well at the beginning of my business, and then realized that I preferred the individual
Hmm.
coaching more. So I like that we brought different perspectives, like the
Yeah,
coach who is a solopreneur, and then I brought on an assistant to help. Uh, and I think it's a really great thing to have the two different perspectives.
I think so too. But I'm very comfortable in corporate America. That was my world for 18 years. I knew it inside and out.
Hmm. So, since we use Zoom, we're limited to 40 minutes on this talk because I usually use Microsoft Teams. So, we have a couple of minutes in a wrap up. Is there anything that you would want to say to the person who we wrote this book for?
I would say if this is what your heart is telling you would like to do, get our book and get yourself started. I talked about being a consultant for a long time when I was in corporate America. And one day I was in the cafeteria with a dear friend who was a manager in a different department. And she looked at me and she said, I'm tired of you talking about this. And I'm telling you, you either go out and get a business card and get started by tomorrow, or you're not allowed to talk to me about this anymore. And that's how I got started.
I love it.
I got a
Yeah,
business card, I got an address, and I got started. So
excellent.
do it.
Yeah, and I've never looked back. It's just
Me
been,
either.
yeah.
It's been fantastic.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for saying yes to me and doing this with me. What a gift to be able to, I mean, capture your expertise. I always said, you have so much expertise. Anytime I was a teen and young adult and I would bring friends around you, my friends would just like be captivated by all. Do you remember the time we went to breakfast and we had Terry, and I can't remember who else came to breakfast. Karen, maybe, and Terry. Everyone hung on your every word. And I just thought, what a shame to not capture that wisdom in a book to help people because you're so helpful.
I love that we did a book together because many generations down the road, our descendants will have something tangible that we did together.
Yeah,
That really, really makes me happy.
me too. I've
We're
always
leaving
wanted to
something
do this.
tangible behind. in
Yep.
addition to all the wonderful children we produced, you and me.
We did it. Yay.
Yeah, we did it. Hooray. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, Kristen Annie.
Thank you. All right. I'm gonna say goodbye to our viewing audience.
Bye-bye.